Alright guys, I got another tracing example for you. This time we're doing the front. Very heroic, confident pose here. So let's go ahead and get started. This is a really good photograph for the torso. I mean, you can see almost every muscle on him in this one. So very good to start with a photo like this. Since we haven't really studied any of the muscles yet, you can see everything. So there's not much guesswork going on here. So it's a good one to start with right now. So I'm starting again at the top, like last time. I like to start at the top, work my way down. This time with the pectoralis muscle, which has 3 heads. It's got three sections, let's say. This first section I'm doing now is the clavicular portion. This is the part that attaches to the clavicle, and then it originates at the clavicle, and then it inserts onto the humerus. And then the second section that I'm doing now is the sternal section. It originates at the sternum. Makes sense. And then the third portion is at the bottom here, and this is the abdominal portion, which connects down to it actually doesn't connect to a bone, it connects to the aponeuroses of the external oblique, right over the abdomen. So it's called abdominal just because I guess it connects right over the abdominal area. So you can see how they all kind of overlap each other. The bottom one goes underneath the middle one goes underneath the top one. And then above that we got the deltoid again, and these 2 heads. You can't see the back head, but you can see the anterior, which is the front, and the lateral, which is the side. So those 2 heads I indicated there. Moving on to the other side, same thing. You got the clavicular portion of the pec right there. I'm starting right at the pit of the neck. That's the border of it, and it attaches right along there, along the clavicle, and then swings over to the humerus. And it'll go over the bicep. It kind of attaches right underneath the deltoid. So the deltoid and the pec, they all kind of swing over to a very similar spot onto the humerus. They all point to that area, same area. Okay, so there's the clavicular area right on top of that. I'm going to add the deltoid. Again, you got the anterior head and a very thin piece of the lateral head showing back there. And I can see it because I see a little corner where the the anterior head overlaps the lateral head. Okay, attachment to the sternum right along there. And right through here you could see a really good indication of the border of that portion swinging underneath the clavicular portion. And then another piece right there for the abdominal portion. The pec is a really complex muscle because of the way it's layered, but once you understand it, it becomes a lot easier to spot all those things that make it so complicated. And it actually becomes kind of easy. You identify the landmarks of the origin, and then you identify the insertion, and then you can just kind of separate it into 3 parts. Becomes a lot easier when you know what you're looking at. Okay, you got the bicep right there. Bicep is a very easy one to identify. And the one I indicated right before that, right underneath the bicep, was the coracobrachialis. Not very visible on him. It's actually, he's got a little bit of a fatty pad under there in his armpit, so it's hard to see the information. Let's move on to the other side. Really same thing. Got the bicep. And I think I do see a little indication of the coracobrachialis right there. It's kind of hard to tell. So if I was drawing this, I would clean it up a little bit. When I have an area like that it's kind of uncertain about exactly what's going on there, I clean it up and I draw it more of what it would look like in a diagram, I guess you could say. When somebody is idealized. Now, he's very close to being idealized. He's very athletic. You can see everything, almost everything. But sometimes you'll have areas that you can just clear up a little bit, and it can make your drawing a little bit better. So again, you've got the long and medial head of the tricep, elbow, flexor group of the forearm, strapping into the front side of the hand. And then right along there, you'll actually see a piece of the extensor group, but it's more the extensors of the thumb. It's that really small piece that I indicated right below the thumb there. They curl the thumb backward, and you do sometimes see a little bump. If the angle is right, you'll see a bump along the contour for them. Okay, let's move on to the torso, back to the torso. Okay, I'm going to start with this large mass over here, the border of the lat, the latissimus dorsi, and it's got a nice gesture right into the external oblique there, so it's kind of like a little S-curve. Right in there is the border of the lat, and right there is a little bump. You see that? That's really subtle indication of where the division is between the latissimus and the teres major. Right underneath the lat, you got the serratus coming out, and then they cross, like crossed fingers of the external oblique. So you got two sections of finger-like muscles in this area. Directly coming out of the lat is the serratus, and then inserting in between each serratus head is an external oblique head. So it's a little like a pattern of intercrossing fingers. So right there, these are the fingers of the external oblique. And we'll definitely study the function of all these muscles when we get to them. Right now, I'm just kind of showing you guys how to do this exercise because we're going to be doing it throughout the whole course. You shouldn't know any of this stuff yet. I mean, I kind of want you guys to just try it, see where you're at, try to have fun with it. Don't get too frustrated because I know, if you're really new to anatomy, this might be really frustrating. But try to enjoy it. Try to just maybe use a diagram and identify these muscles. We'll go into a lot more detail about each muscle throughout the course. You'll be a lot more capable of doing this later. Just want you to start doing it. So on the other side, I put in the external oblique, a very thin piece, and then I'm starting to indicate the abs. Very clear six-pack on him, and actually it's more in the six-pack. I'm seeing on him, kind of hard to say. It's definitely at least an 8-pack. I want to say 9 or 10-pack. And I'll explain to you guys later why it's possible to have a 9 or 10-pack. You've got the 6-pack above the belly button. Those are the obvious ones. And then below, you see I indicated this bullet-shaped muscle, kind of large, right below that 6-pack. That one sometimes has a division along the middle, and it's genetic. Sometimes there's a little tendon running down horizontally along through the middle, and you can count that as 4 more pieces. So it can be a 10-pack. On him, it's a very subtle indication. I see it a little bit, so I'm saying it's either a 9 or a 10 on him, or the beginning of a 9 or a 10. Pretty fascinating, I think. Okay, so I'm just kind of outlining the border of each ab, defining the shape. You want to be slightly irregular when you're drawing these. Six-packs tend not to be perfectly symmetrical, so don't try to make it perfectly symmetrical. If you see an irregularity, go ahead and put it in. It's fine. It'll look more natural. If it's too much of an irregularity, I tend to fix it a little bit, because then it's just distracting, because it's just so far from the ideal that it just becomes a distraction. People start noticing it and thinking that you drew it wrong. But you definitely don't want to just draw the horizontal separations of the abs perfectly horizontal. They shouldn't be parallel. Notice how the angles are slightly different. And I'm just adding some of the indications of the legs. This one, I'm trying to focus on the torso, just throwing in some indications of arms and legs in there. Okay, you got the throat, sternocleidomastoid, swinging out from around the neck, or from around the throat, connecting to the pit of the neck. And again, same thing on this side. Very large muscle on him. And it actually originates down here as well. Two heads. And then trapezius. Swinging up. Remember, it connects to the base of the cranium in the back, and then connects to the scapula. Okay, that's it. Go ahead and download the pictures of the other 3 examples and try to do them first before you watch me do them. Just try it. See how you do. Try to have fun with it. Don't stress over it again. And then after you're done with them, watch me do it and try to learn from it. I think if you do it yourself and you make some mistakes and then you watch me do it correctly, it'll stick better. You'll remember the corrections better than if you just watch me do it. Really try to actually draw a lot during this course. Okay, see ya. Okay, thank you for watching, and thank you for sharing this with your friends. Bye-bye.